We're going to go over some side control escapes and some concepts when you're on the bottom side control with your guard pass. The first two things we're going to talk about is how to properly bridge and how to properly execute a technical get-up, because that's two of the backbone parts of this video are going to be bridging and technical get-up to get us out of side control. So first we're going to look at the bridge. Whenever I bridge, I don't do this. I don't just pick my hips up, keep my head flat on the ground. All right? I'm going to bring my feet close to my butt. Right? If they're out here, and I'm using both feet all the time, I'm not using just one. If they're out here, I can't get the big hip extension. If they're in close, I can get a big hip extension. I'm going to look in the direction that I'm bridging, okay? And then I'm going to bring my legs through to follow around so I always end up on my knees. So we're here. I'm going to look, bridge, look, big, healthy hip extension. Now I'm going to engage my legs as my forehead stays on the ground. And I come right back over. Again. The next thing we're going to talk about is just the regular technical get-up. So as I'm laying down, right, I'm going to use my hand, my elbow to propel me forward, and then I have my hand to keep me safe. All right. Very important that we understand how to do that, especially the elbow shrimp. Even though it's not exactly what we're doing here, it's the same concept. If I can shrimp out on my elbow to not get my guard passed. So now we're going to look at the first escape. Chase is going to put me in like your standard side control where my head's underhooked, his hands are locked, and his other arm's underneath my armpit. So step number one, establish my frame on his face, okay, not his neck. He can still use his head to pressure me. If I have it on his neck, I establish my frame on his face, and then I make my gable grip. Remember, gable grip, no thumbs. We're not grabbing like this. Thumb stays tight to my pointer finger, palm to palm. Make my connection. Now I'm gonna pull his shoulder down to me. His defense to this is gonna be able to if he could posture up and start to shift his weight back. I don't want him to be able to do that, so I'm gonna keep him, I'm pulling him really, really tight to my chest. So I'm gonna execute my big bridge, okay? I'm gonna bridge over my left shoulder. I make sure I get my balls on my feet in the mat. And when I start to bridge, my right hand's gonna come off and I'm just gonna reach across his face so I can keep his face turned in that direction. And I can also get some good distance with that. So again, Chase. Establish my frame, get my gable grip, pull his shoulder all the way down. I get a big bridge, and I keep that hand on his face. All right, so our second one is going to be when they take their arm out from underneath our head to attack our arm. This is a very, very common occurrence, and if you guys play with this, you'll understand that it's like 9 out of 10 times. If you just stay tight right here, eventually they're gonna pull this arm out to try to Americana, Kimura, submit me by attacking that arm. So what I'm gonna do is I have to be very aware of the fact that he's gonna be taking this arm out and he's gonna be bringing it over. Because when he does that, this hand is gonna catch his elbow. Now I can grab a hold of the gi. If it's no gi, I'm just gonna have, like the wide grip. But as he pulls his arm out, I'm waiting, okay? I have to be strategic here. He pulls his arm out, he starts to bring it over, I push it. Look, my arm is extended all the way, and I do my technical get up using my left hand. Now, if I take my hips high in the air, in this situation, I'm gonna flip him right to his back. Okay, a lot of times what's gonna happen is we'll get into a scramble from there, but at least we'll be in a neutral position where we're both facing each other and I'm no longer in bottom side control. Let's do it one more time. This time when I do it, I'm gonna do the version where I move his arm. Let's say he doesn't move his arm, okay? Let's say I have to move it, easy. I grab a hold of his gi right by his elbow. I always wanna keep this frame here because his ability to drive his head closer to mine is gonna ruin my day. So I wanna keep that frame here, my hands hanging out. I'm gonna take this hand, and I'm gonna try to get that over my head, and as I do that, I instantly have to go right into my technical sit-up. Keeping that arm extended all the way. If I have my arm bent like this, look how close his hand is to being able to get repumble or grab onto my gi, something he's gonna be able to do to stabilize. So I wanna keep that all the way out, and I never stop right here just because I got to this part. Right? If anything, if I can't roll them through, I'm at least just gonna walk my hips back out and get into a square position. So now that we talked about that, we're gonna talk about setting up the side control escape before he actually gets the side control, but he's definitely past my guard. This is something that happens a lot. Just because he gets past my guard doesn't mean I have to accept it, and it doesn't mean that I have to sit there and get tortured about him side control. All right, so let's say Chase is starting over in front, right? He gets past my legs. Now, at this point, he's past my legs. We know exactly what Chase wants to do. Chase wants to drop down and secure that side control, but I'm looking directly at this arm. I'm not even worried about the rest of him. As he starts to come down, I get my hands into position, and I take that stiff arm all the way across my body again. So we're here, right? He got past my guard, it's okay. Here, now I'm out. And now for the last one, this is gonna be when he pulls his arm out to get past, to attack my arm, but I'm not able to reinforce it and push behind, right? So he pulls his arm out to attack. I couldn't get this, or he shut it down. He might be too big. So now I'm gonna do a big bridge, and as I do that, my right arm is gonna swim all the way through. I wanna try to get it all the way across Chase's body. So as I do my big bridge, I bring my arm through. This hand is gonna catch this right here. I get my hips up, I keep my forehead on the mat, and I go all the way through my bridge. Let's do another one. Okay, so let's say I tried my first one, nothing. I tried my second escape where I tried to get his arm out, but he shut it down. He's still gonna try to go to work over here. I take my right arm, as I bridge, I shove that all the way, try to get to my belly. I keep my forehead on the mat and keep my hips up in the air. And remember, we never stop until we're in a good position on top. Thanks.